What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Talk to Me here on notfest.com. As always, I am Joshua Toomey, joined by the one, the only Chris Aiken. Chris, how we doing?
Awesome, man. What's happening?
Not a whole lot, man. I was texting back and forth before the Dolphins-Browns game with one John Drake, and John was he was just swearing up and down that you guys were going to boat race the Dolphins, and I was like, dude, don't get so cocky on that one. And it did not look good for you guys, man.
There was a boat racing that happened, and it sure wasn't in a brown and orange boat. That's for sure. Jesus, they got fucking killed.
But my Titans keep chipping away, man. Keep winning these ugly ass games.
I watched that game. It was the first time we've had the Titans. It was a Thursday Night Football or whatever it was, and I watched the Titans game. And you're right, that is one ugly brand of football that just wins.
Yeah,
it just wins. I mean, dude, tell me that no matter what they do, they're going to trade for a quarterback next year. They got to, right?
I mean, are you saying like not to keep Tannehill, or are you saying
I'm saying get rid of Tannehill? Willis is going to be a bust. So he just I watched again. I've only seen really highlights of Willis, so I don't know this, but I know if a coach is not willing to let him throw the ball 10 times in 4 quarters in more than one game, that they have zero confidence in his ability to do even basic things like screen passes or whatever. Right. They don't have any and that's a bad sign for a guy that's, more than halfway into the season and been practicing every week.
Yeah. So, I mean, I give you that. I think that they would have liked to have just sat him for the entire year and not had to put him out there for anything, let alone, starting 2 games. Went 1-1 in his starts. And so I think most backup quarterbacks, if you can get 1-1 out of 2 starts, I think you would take it. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I think yes, on the probably getting another quarterback. I don't know who it's going to be. How about that?
Sure. And he might turn out to be good. I mean, what's his name? Jalen Hurts wasn't very good when he first got out there, and Fields wasn't very good. In fact, Fields was awful last year. And I don't know that he's great this year, but he's a whole lot better. And it seems like, and maybe it's just the media trying to spin it so that they have something to talk about when Chicago plays. But it does seem like there is a lot of hype on that guy. Like he's like the next thing, the next Lamar Jackson or whatever.
If you want to go check out Slobber Knockers, Baco, and over on the Cobras and Fire feed, during our talk about the Bears, I think they're like 2-7 or 3-6, so just losing record. And
there's nothing wrong with 3-6, by the way.
As much, but what I'm saying is, as much as they hype up Justin Fields, I've never seen a quarterback in 2 losses get so much praise.
Oh yeah, well, I guess that's what happens when he runs for 180 yards in a game or something. Win or loss, that's a lot of yards to run for a quarterback.
And that was sports. Yeah. You're welcome, Mike. But what's been going on over at Chris Aiken Presents this week? I saw Eric Ferentinos made his debut, and
he did.
He had a good interview this week too.
Yeah, we had. That was the big news, is that I finally, after a year and a half of Chris Aiken Presents, added a co-host. So Eric Ferentinos of Stephen Piercy's band, the Rat Bastards, is my permanent co-host. He'll be on every Wednesday, and that went really well. He's got stories for days, which is perfect. So we had that going on. Had David Ellefson on today, or the interview aired today, and that was a really cool. Like I told you, it was barely an interview. It's just more like 2 buddies talking, which is still amazing to me that guy's phone number's in my phone.
Right.
I don't even know.
Speaking of Dave Ellefson, what's funny is, I've got his number too. But I during the whole issue with him and leaving Megadeth and stuff, I left him alone. Mm-hmm. But I think the play was to maybe send a couple of, "Hey man, hope you're doing okay" texts, because, he publicly on your show talked about how great of a friend Chris Aiken is.
Well, he is.
I thought I was a great friend by leaving him alone, but I guess I should have been bothering him like you did.
You should have pestered him. I didn't really pester him though. I just kind of was like, look, the real thing that I think he appreciated more, and he's right. I did text him a couple of times when it was really bad and just said, "Hey bro, this shit'll pass. You've been through worse. People have been through this kind of shit. You'll get to the other side." because it was ugly. Let's not forget it was on Fox News or CNN or it was like on like mainstream news as well. So it was ugly for the dude, and I just was kind of like, hey, bro, hope you kind of make it through it. But I think the thing that he appreciated the most was the episode of Skull Sessions that I did with Nalbandian, where Bob was very team Mustaine, and I just held my ground and was like, no. Because and look, and I don't want to redig this whole thing up, but I really felt like people that should have stood up for David Ellefson didn't, right. and that's some famous guys that he's worked with, whether it was Frankie Bello or Jeff Scott Soto or some of his friends from Megadeth, people that he's played with, none of them stood up for him, and he really didn't do anything wrong. He didn't break any laws. He didn't commit any crimes. He jerked off on screen. So what?
Who hasn't?
Look, if my fucking laptop was recording, you'd have thousands of hours of that. So for God's sakes, it's not that big of a deal. And I really just thought he got a raw deal on that. So I stood up for him, and and I know he appreciated that because he did text me like right after it aired, thanking me for that. So, but nonetheless, it's cool to, dude. Like, as I'll say it a million times, if you'd have told 15-year-old Chris that was standing outside of some shitty club waiting to get a thumbs up from anybody from Megadeth that, this guy would be your friend, I would never have believed you. And it's kind of cool. I mean, it's very cool. And he's a good dude. And, and I like his projects too, which that doesn't hurt either, is that I'm a fan. So, just a good thing, man. So yeah, that was this week. That was a pretty good interview, I would say, that went up this week.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Yeah, same here, man. If you told, 12, 13, 14-year-old me that Dave Ellefson's phone number would be in my phone and I could text him if I needed to, I would be like, you're fucking lying. Because, I mean, same thing, with you, we did the Megadeth canned food drive and they did like a meet and greet after that was like, just a cattle call, but I was still like, dude, it's fucking Dave Ellefson.
Hell yes.
Mustaine, and actually after listening to your interview today, all I listened to for the rest of the day was Megadeth. I've listened to
nice.
I just put it on, pulled up the Megadeth Spotify and just hit, shuffle and just all eras, man. His bass playing is just so good.
Big, thick. Now, all right, let's ask the question, just because people are torn with it. I'd imagine as a bass player, you're going to go toward the new. Maybe I'm wrong. Did you like the remasters that were very bass heavy?
Yeah, I mean, I loved some of that early stuff. Really needed the remaster.
Yeah, I agree.
And so yeah, I've definitely loved all of the remastering of the early stuff.
Right, but some people would say that that's blasphemy. How dare you change? How dare you change what I got used to?
Why are you ruining my childhood?
Yeah. But I just remember when I bought those, because I bought the remasters and I just was like, usually that stuff is garbage. Usually it's not, you get a remaster, you really can't tell much of a difference, or you'll hear a little note here or there. You don't hear it. Man, those Megadeth remasters, you really hear a difference. It's a definite different mix. Everything's, all the guitars are cranked way up, all the bass is cranked way up. It sounds fantastic. I'm with you. I like the remasters better.
I liked the interview too, where he's talking about you got a good question there with the, you've been in Megadeth and all of the private jets and all that nonsense, and then now you're kind of starting back over in these smaller bands. How are you handling that? And he talked about, he's like, well, we're still in a bus and things like that. But I like that he's just like, hey, I'm going to be in Poland, so why don't I fly over to Italy and do this video real quick? And what life is he living, man? He's just like, hey, while I'm in the area, I'll stop by, 2 countries over or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely not a life we can relate to. That is for sure. It's, I'm in Poland. What the hell? Let me just shoot over to Italy for a day. It's like, okay, go ahead.
Right. And then I released my interview with Justin Foley of Killswitch Engage and Libica.
Look at that.
On Tuesday. And cool dude, man. I mean, it's basically you get offered anybody from Killswitch Engage, I'm going to take it.
Of course.
And you know, he had history all the way back with you know, Blood Has Been Shed with Howard Jones. So, you know, we had a nice little Howard Jones talk in there and talking about the latest Killswitch Engage album, which is now 3 years old, which is crazy. I was like, just please do not let it be lost to COVID. You know, like,
Right.
Such a great record, man. But well, you know, it's such a great band, and you know, of all of like the heavy drummers, if you watch him play drums, it's crazy. He has like a 4-piece kit. Like he doesn't have the big massive double bass and all these toms and the gong and all this stuff, man. He is just down to bare minimum.
Now Libica is the instrumental project.
Yeah, he's playing guitar, and it's funny, man. He's playing guitar in the band. Like the other guitar player is also a drummer, and then there's a drummer in the band, and then there's a bass player. So there's like 3 drummers and a bass player. And I jokingly brought up, I was like, so you guys, when you guys talk about music, I mean, you guys talk about it because when you're a drummer. So when you were in a band and they'd be like, Chris, I need you to go like boom, boom, pop, 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 do, you know, like, all that nonsense. And they, I wonder how they kind of communicate with each other. Like actually I actually need you to do a paradiddle on that. And, you know, kind of do maybe a flam here, like actually using the terms to where, you know, when we were in bands, I'd be like, Chris, I don't know, just like do that thing.
They go ting 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 ting.
Right,
dude. That seems to be becoming a trend now, though. More and more that these musicians are playing multiple instruments. Like what is that band? The guy from Sepultura is in. Jean, whatever his name is. He was the drummer in Sepultura for a minute.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Ego Kill Talent is the band. I had to think of the band. But all those guys, they all play all the instruments. And when I interviewed that guy, he told me that they switch from song to song. Like literally, they'll be playing a song and then they'll be like, dun, and then they all get up and change instruments. Right. And I was like, man, that has to be bizarre to see on stage, you know, to be watching a concert of that. But it does seem to be happening more and more where these guys, you know, I interviewed a guy today, different genre completely. He's more into like R&B and funk, but this guy, Michael Gabriel, he's Prince's godson. And, and he's a big time producer. Like he's produced like Ringo Starr and, Stevie Wonder and, you know, like huge names. But he's Sheila E.'s touring guitarist, and Sheila E.'s also his godmother. So that's how he sort of gets that gig. But on his album, he plays all the drums, he plays all the guitars, he plays all the bass, he does all the singing. I'm just like, dude, when aren't you looking at music? You know, it's like, wow, that's somebody that's just into music. But I think that's happening more and more, which is good to see, because we've had that 20-year stretch where people thought that they were musicians because they could play Guitar Hero. So,
right.
You know, it's good to see people actually back and playing again.
Nice. Well, speaking of back and playing again, you were going to buy the Zazula Benefit Concert by Metallica. How did that turn out?
You got $10, I'll sell it to you. It's garbage.
How's it so bad?
It's garbage, dude. I hate being this guy because in my life, my 2 favorite bands ever, Pantera, Metallica. You see right behind me, the Metallica stage setup. I'm a Metallica honk. They suck now. I hate to be that blunt.
What was so bad about it?
They're just, everything is slow. It all feels like it's dragging, you know. It just, Hetfield, when he goes for the high notes now, he cannot hit them. Like, so he just does like this screechy thing. He's like, here we are in a world of corruption, you know, and it's like, dude, stop. Just stop. just do that part low instead of trying to do a scream that's out of key. Just do the here we are in a world, you know. Just lower it, and he doesn't. Lars is his usual terrible. You know, he's constantly out of time, which is amazing to me that he's out of time when they're slowing down the songs. Right. You know, it just doesn't sound good. And I know this is a pet peeve and it shouldn't bug me, but it does. every time he says friends or family, I want to fucking vomit. And he does it right from the start. Like, I think it was in Creeping Death, the opening track. He was like, oh, I've got the family here tonight. I'm like, oh.
You're already turning it off.
Yeah, I was like, come on, dude. And just, I don't know. The set list when you see the set list, it's fucking fantastic.
Right.
And if it was 1988, it would have been fantastic. But since it's 2022, it's just crap. They do the opening, and another pet peeve of mine for years now. Have you seen Metallica in the last, 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Did they play Ride the Lightning?
I'm terrible with set lists.
Okay. So you don't know for sure, which that all by itself, a great song like that, you would think you'd remember. I guarantee you can remember that they played The Memory Remains or fucking Unforgiven or whatever.
I know they played Moth into Flame.
Yeah. Okay. So why is it that for the last 15 years with Ride the Lightning, they can't do the guitar part at the beginning in tandem? It always, always, always sounds out of key. It sounds like one guitar player. Yeah, I mean, the song in regular, and they play it together. Kirk and James, and then they get into that riff. Dun, dun, dun. Every time I've seen them perform it, every video I've seen them do it with, and now once again on this Zazula show, it sounds like two guys that don't even know that they're playing at the same time. It sounds like a jazz fusion version of the song. It stinks. I again, it's only $10, so I'm not that upset about it, but I was pretty darn disappointed at that 2 hours of failure that's current Metallica. I just not happy with it.
Pulled up the set list from the night that I saw them, and no Ride the Lightning.
Well, then you got a bonus. Because they always play it wrong. I've been super hypercritical, again, because I'm a huge fan of the band. I'm always crazy critical of it. And this isn't even on the Zazula thing, but it drives me crazy.
Right.
How come since day one they haven't been able to play Sad But True? Why do they have to have that fucking pause before he goes, it's sad but true? They have like just this little tiny pause in that song. They've done it live since the song came out. That doesn't match the record, and it drives me nuts. It's like so Lars can catch his fucking breath to hit the snare.
Oh, I mean, sometimes you have those little spots, man, where when you're the band, you maybe they wanted to record it that way, because there's been many a song that we're like, hey, after we recorded it, you're like, oh, you know what would be actually be cool right there, so we did this.
Yeah, well, you know what? Once it's been a hit single with a hit video, and it's been seen 10 zillion times by everybody in the world, you can't change it anymore.
Well, I will never know that feeling. So,
but yeah, the Zazula show. Look, I bought it out of support for Johnny Z. I know the money goes to Metallica. Fair enough. I mean, he did give me Metallica, so thank you. But God damn it, it's not good. It's just not good.
Well, now I want to see it.
Well, I'll send it to you. You can have my copy.
You can burn me a copy, mail it.
I'm not going to burn it. I will send it and delete it so that I'm not cheating the band. I will never listen to this again.
So, speaking of your all-time favorite bands, Metallica and Pantera.
Yes.
As we go to record, there's a Metallica pop figures from Funko coming soon. Have you seen these?
I have not. No.
So it's a 4-pack. You get all 4 members.
Now, who's the 4th? Is it Robert, or is it Kurt, or is it Cliff, or is it
No. Pantera.
Oh, Pantera. Okay, you said Metallica.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, Pantera Funko Pops coming.
Okay. Is it Dimebag or is it Zach?
Dude, that would be awesome if it was Zach and Charlie. Just people's heads would pop off.
Yes, they would.
But yeah, the pre-sale is already sold out. Like it's been up for like an hour, and I clicked over there to see, and it's already sold out, man.
Wow.
Like $47.99 for the 4-pack. I was probably gonna
That's
buy
really not that bad. $50.
Yeah, for all 4 members of the Pantera band.
Do you personally have any of the pop whatever they're called.
Yeah, I've got all of
Rocks?
Metallica.
Okay.
I've got Lady Justice. That was a Funko Pop.
Okay.
I don't know. They're in like one room that we never go into. Like they're all because my wife has all the Harry Potter ones, stuff like that.
Harry Potter ones. Oh, come on.
Yeah, come on, man.
I have two. I have this one, the Lemmy,
right,
and then I have this one, the Golden Lemmy.
Ooh,
look at that.
Fancy schmancy.
And that's it. You've just seen my entire toy collection.
Yeah, I never really got into the Funko Pops, but they announced today that they've got a D. Snyder coming out and a Ronnie James Dio one coming out. So I think I might try to hit up the pop people and see if like there's a metal dude over there and maybe interview that guy, see what's going on.
A D. Snyder one.
And the D. Snyder one looks like D. Snyder too. Like, I mean, obviously,
how many do you think that would sell? 10?
8?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't see. Back in the day, maybe back in 1984, you might have sold a lot, but now is he in makeup at least?
Yeah. It's like classic.
Okay,
yeah, it's not like they didn't just repurpose like the Sarah Jessica Parker one and turn it into him or anything.
Melt the face down a little bit. Here it is. It's D. Snyder.
Let's see here. I wonder if there's a pre-sale on this one. Yeah, the D. Snyder one,
30 cents.
Pre-order here. All right, we're going to the pre-order.
All right.
$12.
$12.
Yeah, you still pre-order. That's about the going rate of a Funko Pop.
All right.
But yeah, there you go. Looks cool to me.
I want a D. Snyder Strangeland Funko Pop. I want him as that like serial killer guy.
Dude, I hung out with this guy in high school that right after high school, he got all the piercings and the nose ring and everything else, and he looked like D. Snyder in Strangeland. Like, nice. I think even before the movie came out. Like, so when the movie came out, I was like, that just looks like my friend. I don't want to watch that.
Nice, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, good times, man. Yeah, so I'll definitely have to reach out to the Funko Pop people and see if we can't get them on the show because something's going on over there.
Yeah, get them on the show and get us some free toys.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see what else is going on. Another guy we talk about a lot is John 5, and he posted a video of him playing along to some Motley Crue tracks from Too Fast for Love for the album's 41st anniversary.
Wow.
Dude, it looked like he could have been asleep. He was about ready to fall asleep playing some of these songs.
Sure.
I mean, just the caliber of talent that John 5 is, and he's just playing Too Fast for Love, like, and the cat's like falling asleep too. It's just the whole thing just looks so lackadaisical.
Well, he played them all summer on stage, allegedly. So, I mean, he's probably bored of playing them already. Yeah,
I would like to see. I can't wait for some of these videos to come out. I kind of wonder how he's gonna do on stage and stuff like that. But we'll see.
I'm wondering, do you think he comes out with the full makeup and stuff, or does he wipe the makeup off and put on a jean jacket and be one of the guys?
I mean, in this video, he's kind of got the jean jacket on, so maybe he's gonna kind of go maybe pull the look back a little bit. But yeah, he's been doing that trench coat and the crazy, lines on his face and everything else for so long. I wonder if it's almost like a crutch at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a weird thing. I mean, he is as much about his image as he is about his performance.
Right.
And, I really wonder, I know they won't call him, John Lowry or whatever, but I know I can't imagine that you're going to have the three guys dressed down, and John 5 in Rob Zombie mode.
Right.
But who knows? You know what? Who knows? I mean, would it shock me if the rest of those guys donned face paint for the tour? No.
Right.
Could be that too.
We could see that, man. I know I'm assuming as much as you love the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you could also give a shit about the Grammy Awards, but I did want to bring up the Best Metal Performance nominees.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that it's like really bad, but who is I have not seen the list, so who's on it?
All right, so for Best Metal Performance, you've got Call Me Little.
Hold on, before you say that, what justifies that? Is it videos on YouTube? Is it concerts? What do you know what justifies the best metal performance?
I believe it's just it's recorded. It's whatever it's album stuff. It's the Grammys. That's all. It's all the best metal performance on record.
Is like the best metal album of the year, more or less.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So we've got "Call Me Little Sunshine" by Ghost. I don't even know if I've heard that. "We'll Be Back" by Megadeth.
Okay.
"Kill or Be Killed" by Muse, which has been a
Muse
pick of the week there. That was the one metal track that they did on the new album.
But they're nominated for metal album of the year or metal performance of the year.
Yeah. "Degradation Rules" Ozzy featuring Tony Iommi, and then "Blackout" by the band Turnstile. So
Turnstile.
Mm-hmm.
Turnstile, they're barely metal. They're not metal. And Muse is not metal. Jesus, this is Jethro Tull too.
I think if I'm going to make a guess on this, I'm going to say Ozzy featuring Tony Iommi gets it.
Yeah, I would think so too, because it's the biggest. It's the biggest names, and it's the ones that'll cause them the least amount of grief.
Right.
If Turnstile or Muse wins it, metalheads are going to hopefully go down there and burn that place to the ground.
All right. So best rock performance. The nominees are "So Happy It Hurts" by Bryan Adams, "Old Man" by Beck, "Wild Child" by the Black Keys, "Broken Horses" by Brandi Carlile, "Crawl" by Idols, "Patient Number 9" Ozzy Osbourne featuring Jeff Beck, and "Holiday" by Turnstile.
So the best metal performers are also the best rock performers.
Well, this is the more rock version, because "Patient Number 9," featuring Jeff Beck is a rock tune, where "Degradation Rules" featuring Tony Iommi is a metal tune.
And Turnstile shows up in both places.
Yeah. Wow. Best rock song nominee.
Okay.
We've got "Black Summer" by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, "Blackout" by Turnstile, "Broken Horses" by Brandi Carlile, "Harmonia's Dream" by The War on Drugs, and "Patient Number 9" by Ozzy Osbourne featuring Jeff Beck.
Well, it sounds like Ozzy might actually win a Grammy this year.
Has he won a Grammy in the past?
I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. Ozzy Grammys. Grammy Awards. Let's see. Ozzy has won a bunch of them, actually.
Nice.
He won Best Metal Performance in 90. Oh, wait a minute. This might be nominations, because one of them says 22. Oh, these are all 2023. Wait a minute. Stop. No, he's been nominated, it looks like. I don't see that he's actually won.
Okay.
Let me look here. Did Ozzy win any awards? No, it doesn't look like he's ever won one, but he's been nominated 4 times this year. Once in 2014, once in 2008, 2011, and 1994.
Nice.
But that's all the crap albums.
I think that he has a good shot. I think. I mean, if "Degradation Rules" wins, I'm there for that, because that was a great track.
Right. I mean, he should win something. He should win 1 out of 4 at least, because that album's okay. And I hate to stumble back over myself on that one, because I was predicting it was going to be dog shit, because it had that Watt guy, Andrew Watt, playing guitar once again, or directing Traffic. And he did a miserable job on the album before it.
Right.
But yeah, Patient Number 9 is a decent album. I like it. I like it a lot better than, what was the other one called? The Graveyard or something? It had that Under the Graveyard song, but
yeah. Back for the Attack or something.
Yeah, it was just full load of crap. It was just garbage. It was really not good. Hey, good. Look, Ozzy's one of them guys. I'm not the biggest fan of Ozzy in the world, but like everybody else, I don't hate anything that he's done.
Right.
But man, the fact that I'm looking at this list of nominations and awards for him and there's nothing from the 80s, that's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
When you think of Crazy Train, how is Crazy Train not even nominated? It's arguably the most played metal track of the last 40 years. I mean, what would be played more? Enter Sandman?
Probably, but I mean, yeah, Crazy Train. If you're any sporting event, yeah, it's like every kickoff is done it,
Yeah,
done it. You know,
yeah, but I mean, and Crazy Train, though, it even, it crosses into like strip clubs and everywhere else. Everywhere that music is a background and they want metal, Crazy Train finds its way to. That's why I'm thinking it might be the most played. I wonder if there's a way to find that.
most played strip club songs.
Well, I know those are all going to be Def Leppard and Motley Crue. Girls is probably number 1. Cherry Pie is probably number 2. That's most played metal. Most metal played song ever. So Enter Sandman number 1. Paranoid number 2. I don't know if this list is right, but this is the metal's most streamed songs. I guess that'll work. Enter Sandman number 1, Paranoid number 2, Psychosocial by Slipknot number 3.
Hey, there you go, bosses.
I know. There we go. Ace of Spades number 4, Coming Down, Five Finger Death Punch number 5, Freak on a Leash number 6, Bodies by Drowning Pool number 7, and Breaking the Law by Judas Priest, rounding out the top 8.
Nice. Well, here we go, Chris. The 13 best stripper songs ever.
All right.
As compiled by Liam Flynn on October 26, 2022. So just recently.
I would have loved to have been part of the research team.
So should we go 13 to 1 or 1?
Yeah, go 13 to 1.
All right, let me scroll down to 13 here. All right. Coming in at number 13, Milkshake by Khalees. I guess that's the My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard song.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Back That Ass Up by Juvenile.
Right. So this is in 2022.
Yeah, in 22. Oh, Talk to Me Alumni, Theory of a Dead Man with Bad Girlfriend.
There you go.
There you go, Tyler Connolly. Go check that episode out. All right, number 10, Hot for Teacher by Van Halen.
Oh, John Drake jerking off right now.
Shake That, Eminem with Nate Dogg. Not familiar with that one, I don't think.
That's old school.
I Love Dim Strippers, 2 Chainz with Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
I'll check that one out after the show. Number 7, I Just Want to Love You, Give It to Me from Jay-Z.
Okay.
Number 6, You Shook Me All Night Long, AC/DC.
AC/DC. Wow. 50 years later, still popular.
Let's see. Number 5, Candy Shop, 50 Cent.
Okay.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Oh, this one shit might be number 1 for me. Number 4, Hot in Here by Nelly.
Yeah, that's a good strip club song too. I've definitely thrown a lot of money down on Hot in Here.
No, you've definitely thrown a lot of money down to this one. Number 3, Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue.
Of course, tons of money to that one.
Number 2, Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard.
Def Leppard, of course.
And the number 1 best stripper songs ever.
Blame It on God, Deicide.
Closer by 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, get out of here, really? Oh, because I want to fuck you like an animal.
Yeah. So there you go, Liam Flynn.
Is that really the number 1? His 9 Inch Nails?
That's what it says here.
Wow. All right. No Cherry Pie, huh?
Might be number 14.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that a lot in strip clubs.
That's too funny. I love that there's a list.
Well, there's a list for everything, dude.
True.
If you look up the top 10 songs to kill your dog to, I'm sure it's out there.
Right. Oh, Once Upon the Cross by Deicide. A band that we talk about a lot here, and another good friend of the show, KK Downing.
Yes.
Rob Halford, not Robert Halford. Rob Halford says it was magical performing with KK Downing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Was it? Sure didn't look magical.
They found like the one still shot where like I think that KK might be playing guitar at Rob and Rob may be facing KK for 2 seconds. But in a new interview with Lauren Elwell of KSHA WHE radio station, Judas Priest singer Rob Halford was asked what it was like performing with former Judas Priest members KK Downing and Les Binks at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction on November 5th at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. He says, it was good. We hadn't seen him in forever, and I've still yet to watch the footage of that. All I remember is my brief interactions with KK because I'm always running around the stage like a mad drag queen. My interactions with Ken and with Les, it was great. It felt wonderful to have that moment together after such a long time. And that just shows you the power, the weight, the vibe that the Rock Hall suggests you try to attempt. Try and recapture something of the essence that is really part of why you're here, why you're being inducted. I was so happy that Ken and Les showed up because they needed to be there. It was entirely their choice, but I said it made absolute sense if you're in the room and we're playing together, and we did, and it was magical.
All right, that makes me sick. First of all, Rob, stop with the fucking over-the-top media speak. Please, just stop it. Second of all, if you really want everybody that belongs there at the Judas Priest nomination, then Ripper Owen should have been there. Sorry, Rob, but he did 4 records with the band. He deserves to be there. And it was when you decided you didn't want to be there. So stop. He deserved to be there. And as far as that, why, if they were it was such a magical experience, how come they couldn't spread the fucking magic dust far enough to let them walk together down the red carpet?
If it was so wonderful to have the quote is, it felt wonderful to have that moment together after such a long time. It's not like KK doesn't want to be in the band. If you want to have that magical moment, just pick up the phone and say, KK, you want back in the band? Yes. Boom. Here we go.
Yeah. You can have it instead of having, whoever your fill-in is over stage right now. Stop it. You could have him there every day and he'd probably be there. He'll probably shelf the second KK's Priest record right now. If you said, come out and be on the new Priest tour, he'd probably be there, but it ain't going to happen. It wasn't magical. It was okay. We're doing this so that it looks good for the fans. And that's why he did it.
Right.
That's the only reason he did it. If the fans didn't give a shit, honestly, if the fans were like, who cares? We're sick of KK wouldn't have been there.
Right.
He's only there because the fans want him there, because he didn't want him there. If he wanted him there, he'd be there every day. It's his band now.
Oh yeah. And what's crazy is I think KK is of all of like former members of former bands and whatnot, KK is the one dude that's like, no, I want back in the band.
Yeah. Okay. And I, the weird thing is I don't actually blame Halford and Ian and Glenn for not bringing him back. I mean, he said some heinous shit. No, there's zero question about it. And he put it in his book so it doesn't go away either.
Yeah.
Not that anything goes away, but I mean, this is in hardback book. So, it's not going to go away. So they're right to not bring him in, but stop pretending like, well, this is the magical time that we get to see our good lost friend. And then we get to shun him once again and never speak his name. Now that appearance is over, just stop. Just say, look, the fans, what he should have said, the fans wanted to see it. We gave the fans what they want because we do things for the fans. And all this magical fairy dust bullshit is nonsense. Just stop it. Just stop.
I think it's crazy that me and where's the name? Richie Faulkner are the same age.
Really?
Yeah, I think we're like both 43.
Wow, Faulkner looks... Well, I guess Faulkner has had 2 heart attacks. I guess that'll put some years on you.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah. Too funny, man. One more story before we grab a couple of extra things here. Right. Johnny Kelly rules out a typo negative reunion, but says Peter Steele's work deserves some kind of celebration.
Well, A, good, B, true. I'll just say it as simply as I can, man. I mean, typo negative was awesome. Mm-hmm. And I saw him a few times, and I'll tell you what, we all have, I'm sure you do as well. We all have some disappointments with music, things that we missed or that we didn't give as much attention as we probably should have or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, typo negative is that band.
Oh yeah.
When they were around, I didn't care. And I think it was just timing. They were slow, and I was into Machine Head and Fear Factory and Pantera and fast. I was into faster metal when Typo Negative was a big deal. And I really kind of missed them. But I swear in the last like 10 years or so, Typo Negative, I play one of their albums at least once a week. Every week. I missed the boat with them, and now, yeah, I'd love to see some kind of a tribute, not hey, here's the new guy. It's the guy from Volbeat, being in Typo Negative or whatever. But
yeah, I thought you were going a different direction with that. I got into Typo early on, and so saw them a bunch of times. Went to see them specifically. Saw them open for Pantera. Saw them with Life of Agony a couple of times. But I kind of fell off, and even when Typo broke up, it was one of those bands that they kind of just kept going, and I almost didn't realize they kept going until like later on. Okay. And so like now you'll see lineups of like there was like a Typo Negative Hatebreed tour, at some point.
Right.
And yeah, they were active until 2010. But like to me, they were done in like 98.
Yeah, well, I mean, they, I think for most people, they died after October Rust. Yeah. People just forgot them after that, but they had some killer albums after. Some of those Nuclear Blast records after they got dropped, and Monty moved over to Nuclear Blast and took all the Roadrunner bands with him. That was one that he took, and they continued to make some really great records. That last record they did, was it called Still Dead Again or something like that? All I know is it's green like every other album cover of theirs.
But the green one?
Yeah. The green Typo one. but yeah, the last record was killer. Was as good as anything that they ever did. And yeah, I wish that I would have had the foresight to pay attention to that band a little bit more, because I think I would have. Like, I didn't see them many times. I saw them when they opened for people. I saw them when they opened for Pantera. Yeah. I think they might have opened for like Motley Crue or something at some point.
Yeah, they opened the Motley 94 tour.
Yeah, the Karabi. It was them and King's X, I think.
Yeah, what a weird bill that is.
Well, yeah, and I just wasn't clued in to even want to see them. Mm-hmm. So it was, the times that I did see them, I saw them once with Life of Agony too. Yeah. And, but again, Life of Agony was a faster band. Life of Agony had, that was what Weeds and stuff like that. That was kind of faster. I just wasn't into them at the time. And I wish I would have been, because I think I missed a really good band that I would have loved.
I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but my friend bought the Playgirl with Peter in it. Ugh. And we met Peter Steele, and he had Peter sign it. And he goes, "Man, Peter, you're hung like a horse." And Peter goes, "Yes, my mother was a mule." And I'll just never forget the "yes, my mother was a mule."
So he had Peter sign what? His own naked picture?
I think he signed the cover.
All right. I was going to say, boy, that'd be creepy if he signed like along his dick or something. Jesus.
Well, I mean, the size of his dick, I mean, he could have been like Peter, like whatever his middle name
Peter
is.
Jason Steele the Fourth.
Typo Negative.
Right.
1998 summer tour. He could have written a lot on there.
Yeah. October Rust featuring the following songs.
Too funny.
Nice.
One more story before we get into some reviews, recommendations, or whatnot, man. I actually sent you this story, but I figure we should bring it up anyway. But a Caterpillar employee immediately incinerated after falling into a pot of molten iron, OSHA says.
Oh, what a pussy. You can't live through a little steel burn. You're just a big puss.
So, maybe listeners to the show might not know your background, but we'll get into it, man. But a Caterpillar employee was immediately incinerated when he fell into an 11-foot deep pot of molten iron heated to more than 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration. OSHA said that in a news release Wednesday that the death of the 39-year-old employee happened on June 2nd at a Caterpillar foundry in central Illinois, which produced cast iron engine components.
Wow.
It was only the employee's 9th day on the job. I didn't know that. Oh.
Wow, that sucks.
A federal investigation determined that if proper safety guards had been installed, the death could have been avoided, OSHA said. The investigators with OSHA found that the foundry regularly exposed employees to unprotected fall hazards as they worked close to deep containers of molten iron.
Gee, imagine that.
The employee who died was a melting specialist who was removing a sample of iron from a furnace when he fell into the melting pot. Federal safety regulations require employees to install guardrails or covers to protect workers from falling into dangerous equipment. And Caterpillar's failure to meet the legal responsibilities to ensure the safety of health of workers leaves this worker's family, friends, and coworkers to grieve needlessly. OSHA cited Caterpillar for one willful violation. The company is ordered to pay a fine of $145,000 and $145,027.
Wow. Wow, the dude's dead. 140 grand. I mean, obviously the family's going to sue and they're going to settle for $5 million or whatever. But yeah, man, I mean, for people that don't know, I've been through that. I was working in a steel mill, furnace blew up, and I took a 69% third degree, 52% with grafts, molten shower. So I certainly can relate. I certainly know how wonderful that feels. It's really not fun. Am I surprised to hear this story? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. I mean, dude, we used to, and this is not the furnace I got burned on, but we had what we used to call our electric furnaces. And it's ironic that I had that same job. That was my job. I was senior melter, at this place that I got hurt, which I can't say the name of legally, but, we had these electric furnaces, and they were like floor level, and you would melt copper and stuff into it, and then you could push a button and it would like kind of raise up and pour into like ingots that would kind of come across like a line. They were just kind of moving. But when we couldn't get the shit to melt, dude, it was not uncommon for us to step. Did it have those rails? Yes. But the fucking furnace supervisors would be like, get out there and push that shit in.
Right.
And so you'd get out around it and you'd push it in with your foot. You'd just be kind of leaning in with your foot. And I mean, if you slipped or something, or your knee gave out or some shit like that, you're falling into a vat full of fucking molten metal. And I mean, it was deep. It was probably 5-6 feet deep. And, you could be dead just like that. And it would, if you got a pot like of really, like the pot that blew me up was, I think it was 2,200 degrees.
Wow.
I mean, it'll vaporize you in a minute. For me, it vaporized all the clothes, all the gear, everything that I was wearing, the masks, the face shield, everything. It vaporized that shit, all my skin. At one point when I got up, which somehow I got up, I looked at my hand and I was looking at bones, because I was literally looking at the bones in my hands because that shit just burned everything else away. So yeah, I'm not surprised by this. Caterpillar will pay, but let's face it, they're going to make this go away quietly. It's worth $5 million to them to get rid of this guy quickly and raise the price of every tractor $30.
Yeah, it's so how did you live through that? Like, I guess, how did it not, just completely destroy? Like, what were you wearing something that kind of saved you, or
no
standing behind something, or the way it blew up, or anything? No,
the only thing that they've ever attributed to me living, because I mean, I got burned. Like I said, 69% was burned, and 52% of it required grafts. I mean, I am a walking fucking surgical scar. But the only way I really got away with it or lived through it or whatever was mine was a true explosion. It wasn't just poured on me.
Right.
And it blew me back like 30 feet.
Okay.
So it blew the wacky thing was it threw me back, and I hit my back on a tow motor that was parked behind me. And I kind of flopped down. And I remember at first when it first happened, you're stunned. And I was like, what the fuck? And oh my God, does my fucking back hurt from hitting this fucking tow motor? And I remember just pushing myself up, and I got up and I started walking out of the furnace, and I looked, and I mean, there was just blood everywhere shooting out of me. And I looked down and saw my hand, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is really fucked up, and and I went in, and, they laid me down on a dirty floor with a sheet, and, they called the paramedics, and they came and got me on a helicopter and got me to the burn unit here in Cleveland, who's the best in the world. And honestly, probably the only way I lived was somewhat that I was a tough son of a bitch and wasn't willing to just accept things. But truth be told, the doctoring crew, they were amazing. They, I mean, look it up. Anybody that's burned over 50%, the odds are like 80-20 to death.
Wow.
And I went 69% and lived and didn't lose any limbs and didn't lose any abilities to walk or any of that kind of shit. So I lucked out and didn't get the biggest thing for me, the biggest happiness, I didn't get fucking fried on my face. That would have sucked. That would have. I was ugly enough, but I didn't need to be. I didn't need to look like a melted fucking jar for the rest of my life. So, I got lucky.
Well, yeah, that's crazy, man. I couldn't imagine. So, I don't know if you've ever touched on it, and maybe you have. Did they settle with you, or did they kind of brush it away, or what? How did you get any kind of financial thing out of this? I don't remember if you did or not.
Well, you don't know, because I have not really been allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
I had to. I'll put it this way.
All right.
I lost in court. I went to court and I lost. They somehow were able to say that I was culpable for this, which was beyond ridiculous. But I made such a stink about, and I just did happen to be on the radio by the time we ended up into court. I made such a stink about the noise I was about to make that maybe there was some paperwork and some money that might have worked
made its
around
way into your account.
Yeah, might have worked into my account to where right now I'm not saying anything. I'll just put it that way.
All right.
Did I make enough to retire? Absolutely not. I mean, obviously I still work 15 other jobs, but
right.
I did not get the multi-zillion-dollar settlement. I'll put it.
Well, what was their thing that made that pointed it was your fault that it happened? What were they saying?
Can't talk about it.
All right.
That's one I can't. It's not even in my book. I mean, that's really, I'm really not allowed to talk about
all right, fine.
The court stuff.
Fine. I thought we were friends, man.
I'll tell you off the air, but I'm not going to tell you in a public forum. No way.
All right. You're not on notfest.com. Come on.
Yeah. I don't have that money left to give back.
Well, too funny, man. Well, before we get out of here, let's talk a little bit about some reviews, recommendations, and whatnot. I'll start this week because I actually have two musical things.
Okay.
There was one thing that a band called, I'm going to say it's Polyphia, Polyphia, that was on my release radar, and it had a song featuring Chino Moreno of Deftones. And I was like, all right, I'll check this out. Dude, this band is like, it's banana land, where it's like if Prince made like a metal record with Dream Theater, but like Victor Wooten was on bass, and it's mostly instrumental, but there's a couple of guest vocalists.
Right.
And the track with Chino, obviously I enjoy. But man, it's just like one of those bands of like every twist and turn, and the musicianship is just amazing on it. So yeah, I mean, check it out. If you like, just some good musicianship and something that's a little left of center, man, I think people will like it. And the song with Chino is called Bloodbath. The album is called Remember That You Will Die, speaking of everything we were just speaking on. And then I've got another band that it was crazy, man. A friend of mine sent me a video on Monday. He was at a show, and he sent me a video on Monday of this band, and I was watching the bass player play, and he was like playing really well or had cool stage presence. And he just kept going on and on about this band. And so the next day I was like, all right, I'll check it. Because it's like that one friend that you have that when they say something's good, you know it's going to be good because they have good taste.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of know his style and what he likes. So I was like, I'll definitely check it out and most likely like it as well.
Right.
So it's a band called Fit for a King. They were on tour with I Prevail and Pierce the Veil. And I checked it out and it's crazy. So he sends me the video on Monday.
Okay.
I check it out on Tuesday. I was there thinking, I was like, you know what? I think this has been in my email for a while. I look at it. It's an Atom Splitter band. Right. So I email them. I'm like, hey, are these people available for an interview? So as this episode goes up on Thursday, I will be interviewing the bass player. So this might be the quickest turnaround of, hey, check out this band. Hey, I really like this band. Right. Hey, I'm going to interview this band like within 4 days, I think, of each other.
Very cool.
But yeah, the band is Fit for a King. The album is called The Hell We Create. It's kind of like it's like maybe like that Lorna Shore, but it's got some singing on it. But I mean, they go crazy with the breakdowns and the screaming and the gutturals and the growling. But they do have I do believe the bass player is the one that does kind of the singy choruses. So if you like kind of a Day to Remember, maybe a little bit heavier than that,
right?
Kind of heavy stuff with their pop sensibilities, I think you'll enjoy it.
Very cool. No TV?
I don't think we've been watching TV, man. I think she's been watching The Crown. So, I mean, I guess I've been watching The Crown.
And you're not recommending that.
But, it seems to be okay. I haven't really been paying too much attention to that.
Sure.
But yeah, I think, just watch football. As this episode goes up, Titans and Packers Thursday night football. We'll check that one out at Lambeau Field.
Wow. Very cool. Well, I have a few recommendations now. It's funny, when we started the show, I had none, but now that I've thought about it, I have a few. Musically, there's a band out there called Borealis. It's I don't know what it's. You would think that it would be like symphonic or something like that, or prog metal, and it has those elements, but it has every other kind of style in it as well. Again, it's one of these smorgasbord bands. The album is called Illusions. It is great. I definitely would recommend people check that out. And just because, and I can't believe you didn't bring this story to the table, but just because of this story, I'm going to recommend something very old school. I'm going to go back to State of the World Address by Biohazard, which has been in my player all day, with the announcement of the original lineup announcing tour dates.
Did they
new music?
I saw that. I knew, and I didn't click on it because we had touched on that recently.
Yeah,
and I do try to mix it up occasionally. All the bands that we talk about.
Dude, new tour dates, new music.
Is it all still overseas though?
The tour dates are, but they'll do U.S. shows. If they're going to release an album, they're not doing it so that they can go play the fucking Wacken Festival. They're doing it so that they can do a run here.
Hey, look at that. An August 2022 interview or 2020 interview with Aftershocks.
There you go.
Still, you gotta love Bori.
I like getting the extra attention, but yeah, that's so I've been listening to that all day today. I've been just really redigging into that. Yeah. And then TV wise, Yellowstone started this week and it's awesome. It's absolutely picks up right where it left off. It's the best show on TV right now. So without question, you definitely want to get that one. And then
I watched a couple of episodes of that, and it's like, I love this show, and it's just like I have not sat down to watch it.
Dude, you got to watch it. It's fantastic. We're in season 5. You've watched like 3 episodes.
I got to catch up.
Yeah, you're like 100 episodes behind. Come on. But so that one is good. And then this is an actual older show. Speaking of getting in on something way late to the party. You ever watch this show on CBS called FBI?
Probably not.
It has this, I ain't gonna lie. It has this chick that I think is like super, super hot, Missy Peregrine. She's like, she was on a show called Rookie Blue on ABC like 10 years ago, and she is smoking. And that's why I started watching it. My girl Kelly was like, "Oh, watch this. This has your girl in it." And I was like, "Okay, I will." So I started watching it. It is kick ass. Forget the fact that she's hot. This show is kick ass. It's written by Dick Wolf. That's written, all the Law and Order stuff and all the Chicago shows. Well, now he's got the FBI series going as well, and it's as kick ass as anything else he does. So I know I'm late to the party on that one. They're in season 5. I'm on episode 8 of season 1 or whatever, but great show, man. FBI. It's on, I guess it's on CBS. So there you go. There's my recommendations.
That sounds like one of those shows is just so generic of a title.
Really? But you know what? It fits the CBS thing because, of course, there's FBI International and
right.
like FBI Vegas or whatever. They're launching like CBS does, where they just take the name and they just tack a city name on it and call it a new show. So whatever, I don't care. It's a good show. I'll watch all the spinoffs as well. Why not?
I think pretty soon we'll have Talk to Me Dallas.
Yeah, why not?
Talk to Me Phoenix.
Well, that's what we should do. Is if one of us ever does like a solo show, it'll be Talk to Me Louisville,
right?
And I did say Louisville,
or Talk to Me Twinsburg.
Yeah, Talk to Me Twinsburg.
Maybe I could start just selling franchises of the name.
Why not?
Like if all right, if you want to start a podcast,
yes,
hit me up. You can start your own Talk to Me. It just has to be Talk to Me Albuquerque.
Yeah, it has to be a different city, but it's available for sale right now.
Yeah, the franchise fees are very, very reasonable. So just hit me up, talk@gmail.com. I'll send out the contract.
Yeah. As long as you can get new strings for your bass, you're like, yeah, use it. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, doing those reunion shows, man, I was just like, Jesus Christ, I have to take out a second mortgage for bass strings.
Nice.
Yeah, good times, man. Well, anything else going on? Anything else we need to know about?
No, man, just doing my thing. I know next week I have an interview with Michael Wilton from Queensryche that a lot of people have been waiting for, because it's probably going to shake. It'll probably end up a blabbermouth. There's a couple of things that he said in there that are pretty tree shaking. So
nice.
So I would imagine that one will be on blabbermouth. That's on Monday. I have no idea past that what I have. I know it's all scheduled and done. That's why I've already forgotten it. So
nice. Well, guys, go back and check out Chris's Dave Ellefson interview. Go check out Chris Aker Presents with Eric Ferentinos. Go check out my interview with Justin Foley of Killswitch Engage. And for the Talk to Me podcast here, notfest.com. I'm Joshua Toomey.
I am Chris Akin.
And we will talk to you soon.
See ya.